Hey guys, thanks for joining me for this 53rd episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. Special guests for this episode include executive producer Craig Plestis of The Masked Singer. We'll be talking about the new season, season number 5. We'll also visit with actress Ann Skelly. She's the star of the upcoming HBO series The Nevers, also co-stars the film Rose Plays Julie. We'll also visit with actor Michael Cudlitz about the new series Clarice, with new episodes airing Thursday nights on CBS. Wipeout executive producer Matt Kunitz will be talking about the series premiere on TBS coming up tomorrow. And actress Mira Sorvino will be talking about the new movie The Girl Who Believed in Miracles. Of course, if you would, please take the time to subscribe, drop a like, comment, leave some feedback, and of course, share with your friends. It's hard to believe we're into season number 5 on The Masked Singer. We've got executive producer Craig Plestis on the line with us. And first off, Craig, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, pleasure. And thank you for taking the time and letting me talk a little bit about the magic of The Masked Singer.
Craig, this show absolutely blew up. Did you guys see that coming in?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. You know what? No one knows if something's going to actually work big anymore, but I knew it was going to work, but I didn't know it was going to be such a cultural phenomenon that it was. I mean, it was difficult giving birth to the show, knocking on doors, going to celebrities saying, hey, would you like to put a hippo costume on and sing and dance? And no one's going to know it's you, but eventually they will. And the first season, so many people said no, and they said, come back to me in season 2 and 3, Craig. But luckily, we had such incredible people that believed in the show that got underneath the mask, and also our panel and host, and it just went crazy. And I think mainly because it was fresh and different. And when you try something fresh and different, sometimes it works.
And the judges, I mean, that is such a mashup of different personalities and all that, but it works amazingly, Craig.
Oh, listen, you know what? It took a long time to get, our judges, our panel together. And I really looked at chemistry and also people who believed in the show. Because you got to remember, before anyone in America knew, I had this little sizzle, this concept tape that Fox bought, and I went around and knocked on the doors of the different celebrities who I wanted to be on the panel. And there were some people that said, I don't get this at all. And, well, I'll do it. I said, if you don't get it, I don't want you, to be honest. And literally, I looked at people between Jenny, with Robin and Ken. They watch and they go, "Oh my gosh, I want to do that." And Dr. Ken was even more just crazed about doing the show. It was his mom's favorite show in Korea, so he had to do it because his mom said, "If you don't do it, I'm not going to talk to you anymore." So he was browbeaten by his mom to do the show.
And tell the folks, we've had the chance to visit with Ken before, but what he's like when the camera is off. I know he's just a genuinely kind guy as well.
Oh my gosh, Ken is the best. I love Ken. He just makes me laugh all day long, and also I get free medical advice from Ken too. So it's like what better thing? He makes me laugh, and I say, hey, I got a cut. What should I do with this? I got my elbow starting to hurt. So he's the best of everything.
Which of the judges do you think, as the series has progressed, do you think has improved, maybe beyond what you even expected them to be?
Oh, hands down. I'm going to tell you, Ken, hands down. Ken, in the beginning was kind of like, it was Ken. He understood pop culture, knew everybody in Hollywood because he's done so many films and stuff like this, but it was just hard for him to figure everything out. It's all gelling this season, and I think that's the big battle. Who's going to get the most correct answers? Jenny was a powerhouse because she lives pop culture. And by the way, and Nicole and also Robin, they have incredible ears. They just need to trust their instincts a little bit more on that because we're always trying to disguise the voice a little bit, the celebs are. But I think it's going to be a battle between Jenny and Ken this season, who's going to have the most correct guesses, I think, the way it's going right now.
And after the way the series started out, for Ken to be even close to the lead of being able to pick them is amazing in its own right.
Oh my gosh, absolutely amazing in that. He's thrilled. He wants to win. We have this little trophy that we give out to the panelists, the Golden Ear Trophy. Jenny won it last season. And listen, they all want to win that trophy. It's crazy. It's not just the people, on the stage. It's the people behind the desk on the panel. They have their own little competition going on.
For the stars that are behind the masks, whenever they're unmasked and then after the show is over, I mean, what's it like for you to hear the feedback from them being able to be up and do something maybe that a lot of folks didn't realize they had the opportunity?
It's a really special opportunity for all our celebs, and I tell them that before they get in there. They don't, I don't think a lot of them realize 100%. They've done so much already. This is an experience unlike anything else they will ever have in their whole life. They're disguised when they come in. No one knows who they are on the whole set. There's 80% of our team doesn't know who's behind the mask. Our director doesn't know. So they come in not as celebrities, but just as these amorphic creatures that come in and perform, and no one knows who they are. So they're kind of isolated. But they come out of this experience changed a little bit. We just recently last week, we had Danny Trejo. He was the raccoon on that. And I went into his trailer afterwards, and I said, Danny, thank you so much for being on the show. He goes, Craig, I got to tell you, this is the best experience I've ever had. And I said, Annie, you have an IMDb list longer than any other movie star in the history of the world. And he goes, oh, I'm not lying. This is the best experience. So it just makes my heart so happy that when you have someone like that who's done everything imaginable to say this is the best, and it's true. And I've had so many other celebrities who've said the exact same thing. So that's the side, that's the bonus I get out of doing the show.
And with all of the drama, the mental issues we've had to deal with because of COVID over the last year, for folks to be able to express themselves and put a light in everybody's day, I mean, that's the ultimate goal here.
Oh yeah, listen, you know what? This is one of the very few shows on broadcast TV that brings families together. I go online every night. Our show airs like tonight, 8:00. 7 Central, and I read what people say about the show, and so many say, thank you so much this is the only show I can watch with my daughter, with my son, or, that I watch with my grandparents. They constantly say, thank you, and that doesn't happen. And I've done so many other shows in my life that this is the one that we're bringing America together. And so I think that's a blessing, and I'm really happy that we're able to do it, especially during this time.
That's right. And again, the news episodes of The Masked Singer, Wednesday nights, 8 Eastern, 7 local time on Fox. And Craig, want to make sure and let our listeners know if they want to find out more information about The Masked Singer and everything social media wise as well.
Yes. Well, listen, I would suggest everyone just hashtag The Masked Singer tonight, join the conversation. And by the way, tonight, the big spoiler alert, we have a wild card coming in. It's our second wild card. Might be one of the biggest names we ever had on the show. And let me just also, one other spoiler alert, get a box of tissues. You're going to cry up a storm. So get ready.
That's good stuff. Again, The Masked Singer Season 5 continues tonight on Fox. Craig, it has been a great pleasure to visit with you this morning. Continued success, and look forward to talking again real soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having and spending the time with you.
Now, I understand burritos. I don't really understand Bitcoin, but I'll gladly take either of them for free if someone's offering. Now, Chipotle just announced that they'll be giving out free burritos and free Bitcoin tomorrow, and no, this isn't an April Fool's Day thing. Tomorrow is National Burrito Day, so this whole giveaway is really happening. Now, if you want to enter, you can go to their website, burritosorbitcoin.com, tomorrow starting at noon Eastern. You get 10 tries to guess a random 6-digit number. If somehow you get the number right, you'll either get a burrito or some Bitcoin. 10,000 people will get a burrito, 50 people will get $500 worth of Bitcoin, and 3 people will get $25,000 worth of Bitcoin. Of course, your odds of guessing a 6-digit number aren't great. The fine print says your odds of winning are about 1 in 175,000, but it's free and someone's got to win, right? You've seen him on the big screen, the small screen, The Walking Dead, Southland, Lost, Prison Break, a million other things, plus the new series Clarice. And new shows are coming up this week. Had a couple week off because of the NCAA tournament. We've got actor Michael Cudlitz on the line with us. And first off, Michael, thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thanks for having me.
The new series Clarice, if folks don't know the story behind it, obviously it goes right along with the Silence of the Lambs and all of that. Tell our listeners a little bit where we pick up coming into episode 6.
We come into episode 6 where Clarice Starling is sort of going back and dealing with some of her past trauma directly. She's going to meet with Catherine Martin tonight for the first time. Catherine Martin was the character that was in the well that she rescued in the Silence of the Lambs movie. And now we are a year later. The two have not met in person since. And we're going to have a lovely family dinner and see how all that works out.
I take the tongue in cheek with a friendly family, fun family time, and going tongue in cheek along with that. With Clarice, Michael, what's been the biggest challenge coming in with the new series, especially in the midst of all we've been going through this last year?
The biggest challenge for us has been the scope of the show. When we got up in here into Toronto to start filming in September, things were starting to open up. So far as COVID, and our team on the show is supposed to be a fly team, which is a team that goes to different locations to figure out sort of horrific crimes and track down the perpetrator. Because things shut down very quickly after we got up here, they had another surge up here. The scope of the show was pulled in. So we don't travel as much as we are going to in the future, and the size of the amount of background that could be in scenes after we were about 3 episodes in, that got greatly reduced. So I don't think the audience will notice it that much, but it's been a really kind of wonderful to watch the production team sort of have to dance around and figure out new ways to do things and how to work around or work within, I should say, the schedule changes. And it's, I think the show has gotten better because of it. The cast is incredibly, incredibly close. We were hired to do the job over a year ago. And before we shot the pilot, we were shut down because of COVID. And we all kept in touch, including the producers and the writers, over Zoom over the years. So once we really got into it, 6 months later, 7 months later in September, there's an incredible closeness we have. And I think it shows in the work. I feel like, for those who watch the show, you can see it. It feels like the show has been on air for 3 or 4 years already. And it shows in the work and the connection between the characters. It's been wonderful to be distracted by this. I know a lot of people are not as fortunate as we are to be working, and we're very aware of that. But, we are in a situation where we can. We're all away from home. Haven't seen our families in 8 months, so we go home in another month. But it's been, definitely worth it to be able to produce new content, new entertainment for everybody who is stuck at home.
And we talked about Clarice going right along with the previous movie that had such high accolades. Do you put extra pressure on yourself whenever you come into a role in maybe a series that people have a little insight into in the first place?
I don't think you can worry about any of that. I think if you're doing the work the right way, it's all important, and you try to do it as well as you can. I think if you're sort of delivering to what you think the perception is of the material, you're gonna wind up in trouble every time. I do your best all the time. That's my sort of way of approaching it.
Now, this time around, you talked about meeting via Zoom and all that previous to doing the pilot. Did that help you think as you guys came together the first time on set for the camaraderie? Because I know there's a learning curve with a new cast. Did that help out, you think?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, we were much closer, much more intimate with each other than we ever would have been in that amount of time. Usually a pilot, when you shoot a pilot or a first episode of a show, you've never met anyone, and you don't really get to know each other personally at all till you're finished, and then those relationships start to evolve. And we all had a wonderful relationship with each other before we even started shooting.
And again, the new episode 6, I should say, coming up Thursday night, 10 Eastern, 9 local time on CBS. Clarice and Michael, I want to make sure not only let folks know where they can find more about the show, but everything you've got going on social media-wise as well.
Well, you can find me on all things at Cudlitz. That's at Cudlitz. That's my Instagram and my Twitter. And my Facebook is Michael Cudlitz. So check it out. You see behind-the-scenes photos. You get previews and little clips, and I actually interact with the fans on those platforms personally. So come check it out. We live tweet during the show if you want to do that, if you want to be distracted, if it's too scary for you. Or you can jump on after we're done. But we'd love to have you over there. I'd love to have you check it out. And this Thursday's episode is fantastic. We're very, very proud of it.
That's awesome. Well, Michael, it is always great to visit with you, sir. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And, well, look forward to getting back with the family, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time.
Now, vaccines are opening up to more people, and we found 7 things that we thought we'd share with you that you should not do when you get your vaccine. First off, don't take over-the-counter medications like Advil or Tylenol right before your shot, because there's a slim chance that it could interfere with the immune response that doctors want to see. But taking them afterward to help with symptoms, that's okay. Number 2, don't worry about drinking alcohol. Yes, too much can weaken your immune system in general, but there's no evidence that it affects the vaccine or how well it works. Number 3, don't get a tattoo or piercing right after your shot. Now, there is a slight chance it could trigger an immune response on top of the one you're getting from the vaccine. Number 4, don't book other vaccines around the same time. We don't have a ton of data on how other vaccines interact, so just to be safe, wait 2 weeks before you get a flu shot. Number 5, don't push yourself to exercise. Most people should be fine to work out after their shot, but if you're feeling run down, just take a day off. Number 6, don't forget to hydrate. Now, it can affect how well the vaccine works, and some people develop a fever from the vaccine, which makes you sweat more, so drink lots of water. And number 7, don't lose your vaccine card. Now, Staples, Office Depot, OfficeMax, and others are laminating those for free right now, and of course, you should also take a photo of it just in case. If you haven't seen that the new show is coming, a new season of Wipeout, the new series coming up tomorrow, you've been hiding under a rock somewhere. We've got executive producer Matt Kunitz on the line with us. First off, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, Matt, how long was it in the process between the last Wipeout and this one? How long was the process to bring it up to the screen that we're going to see tomorrow night?
So, we started the show in 2008, and we ran for 7 years. So around 2015, 2016, we went off the air on ABC. But the show never really left because we had such a huge social media presence. So I knew, just based on the millions and millions of hits that we were getting on social media, that it would come back. It was just a matter of time. TBS asked us about a year ago, just a little over a year ago, if we would bring it back to their network. And it took a year to do it because it's a huge show. We did 20 episodes, but now we're ready. So we're premiering tomorrow, TBS, 9/8 Central.
And what's it like having John as the host this time around? Just in the previews that we've seen, I mean, the excitement that he shows is unbridled, as you would expect, right?
What's so awesome about having new hosts, because my inclination is like, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But the network pushed us to you've got to, you have to change, and they wanted A-list celebrities, and we brought on John Cena and Nicole Byer and Camille Kostek. And what's so awesome about having these new hosts is that they've never been there before, so they're seeing it through fresh eyes, and we're living as an audience. We're living vicariously through their reactions, and to see the hosts that have done it for 7 years, it's pretty hard to make them, oh my God, that was happening constantly with John and Nicole because this was all fresh for them, and they bring a completely new attitude and a new sense of humor to the show.
And Matt, what is your favorite part of the show? I mean, what is your favorite maybe obstacle that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, so I like the element of surprise, and we have a thing called the smack wall. So the contestant is running along. Usually they're hopping from one podium to the next, and they're thinking about hopping from those podiums. What they don't know is the wall in front of them is about to just, as they're running, is about to open up hydraulically and flip them. So I like that element of surprise. I think that's the best part of our show. We also have an airbag. It's literally like a car airbag. And we designed the course so that at this point they have to face a wall. It's the only way they can get across it is if they're facing the wall, and all of a sudden the airbag just explodes. Now, we've designed the airbag, but it's not quite as powerful as a car airbag, but it's powerful enough to throw them 4 or 5 feet off of the ledge, and that's my favorite.
Now, who plays the role of the guinea pig whenever you guys come up with the with the new obstacles?
So we have a whole team. We actually call them the Black and Blues. I'm not supposed to talk about that name, but it's just what they are. So we call them the Black and Blues. They're about 8 guys and girls that are probably, 19 to 25-year-olds. And we pummel them all day long, in the name of safety. And we enjoy it tremendously. But we test with them over and over again. And once we've tested with them and we know, okay, this works and it's safe, now we bring in what we call the realies. And these are just volunteers that are like, kids of the crew, friends of the crew. And they come in, they've never seen the course, and they'll run it like a real contestant so that we can sort of get an idea. We know that the course is safe, but now we want to see how does a normal person react on the course. And once we've done that over and over and over again with each element of the course, then we know we're ready to put real contestants on.
Now, Matt, have you yourself ever tried any of the courses?
I have never once in the 170 episodes tried it. I don't want to be ridiculed by my crew. I mean, I know I'm going to wipe out. The course is designed for wiping out. So I don't need my crew to be laughing at me.
What are maybe some of the newest additions that folks can expect coming up tomorrow night?
Well, you can expect that the course is bigger than it's ever been. It's bolder, it's edgier. With our particularly with Nicole Byer, if you know her brand of humor, she's pretty rated R, and the network, because this is no longer ABC Disney. When we were on ABC, we sort of had that Disney cloud over us not a cloud, but it was like the Disney brand of you got to keep it really clean. That is not the case on this show. It's still safe for your kid to watch because the jokes are going to go right over their heads. So the adults are going to get them, and they're going to be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe she just said that," and she said it on television. The kids are going to enjoy the smack walls and the seeing people flip off the big balls, and the adults are going to enjoy the wipeouts and the humor.
That's right. And again, the new series premiere on TBS coming up tomorrow night, Wipeout. Be sure and check it out. And Matt, I want to make sure and let folks know where they can find more info, not only about the show, but everything else you've got going social-wise as well. Well,
you can find out more about the show at tbs.com. And believe it or not, I'm not really on social media, like publicly. I guess I'm a little bit more of a behind-the-scenes guy, a private guy.
Well, Matt, it has been great to visit with you this morning. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I can't wait for the new series.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Now, when all the bars closed, you had 2 choices. Stop drinking fancy cocktails, or keep the party going and learn to make them yourself. Well, someone looked at Google Trends to find the #1 cocktail each state has been Googling during the pandemic, and here are the top drinks we've been learning to make. #1, mimosas from people brunching at home. It's just champagne and OJ, but it's #1 in 6 states, including Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Pina coladas are next with 3 states. Those include Florida, New Jersey, and New Mexico. White Russians were 3rd with 3 states, Alaska, Minnesota, and West Virginia. #4, mojitos, also 3 states, Arkansas, Virginia, and Washington. #5, margaritas, also 3 states, Missouri, New Hampshire, and Texas. #6, wine coolers also made the list with 3 states. You can make your own by mixing wine and ginger ale. And #7, Bellini, Dark and Stormy, and Old Fashioned got 2 states each, and 1 state's top cocktail is really a mocktail. Shirley Temples are number one in Nevada. Of course, if you add vodka, it's a dirty Shirley. Not only does she have one thing coming up, but she's actually got a couple of projects we'll be talking about. Actress Ann Skelly, first off, Ann, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show.
Oh, thanks very much for having me.
And talking about having a couple of things out there, especially in the midst of all we've been through this last 12 months, Ann, how appreciative are you of what you got right now?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, it's so hard to describe this past year, but it's a real relief. I think that these two things are coming out at the one time. Rose Plays Julie and The Nevers, particularly in America, which feels very exciting for me. So yeah, I'm very very grateful for it. Let me tell you that.
Now, we talked about a couple of things, the HBO series, The Nevers, and also the film Rose Plays Julie. And let's start off with the film, Anne. Rose Plays Julie. Tell our listeners just a little bit about the film and how excited you are, the feedback that you've been getting as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, the film centers around a character I play called Rose, and she's in search of her biological parents. She finds her mother, played by Orla Brady, but she doesn't really want to know her or meet her. Orla Brady's character doesn't, the mother. And they find out, I don't want to do spoilers, but it is a very Greek mythic quality to it. And there is a beautiful operatic score by Stephen McKeown. And it's a very tense, very, very, very tense film. But I think it's something that you will feel very grateful to have watched, hopefully, and something that will stick with you. It's stuck with me, even still talking about it. And that's, I feel very glad to have worked on something that has such an impact on people. A couple of the responses have been really made me cry. So it's a really, really special one. And I think, very meaningful.
Now, for you, the series also upcoming on HBO called The Nevers. And tell us a little bit about the new series and when that's going to be available for our viewers as well.
Yeah, so The Nevers is coming to HBO on April 11th, and we've got 6 episodes, the first half of the season coming out, and we'll be filming the second half, the other 6 episodes later in the year. But it centres on 2 best friends called Amalia True, played by Laura Donnelly, and myself, Penance Adair. And my name's not Penance Adair, my character is. But I don't mind being confused with either. But so they're a group called The Touched, who basically there was an event 3 years ago that they've woken up with kind of unusual abilities. And there's a grander mission at the heart of it, but no one knows what exactly it is. And even the most informed character in the show still hasn't knit all the bits and pieces of information together. And it's kind of a slightly supernatural, slightly sci-fi, genre bending, Victorian, but also drama and very funny. It's a world of escape. I think everything I'd want to watch right now. So for that.
And speaking along those lines of an escape, what have you done to escape in these last 12 months when, a lot of our escape is just going from the bedroom to the living room, right?
Oh, yeah. Can I be honest, Cameron? I've found this show called The Real Housewives of New York, and it's changed me. The Real Housewives of New York, they've been my greatest companions throughout this, and they've gotten me through it all. Luann and the gang, they've changed my life. Gosh, it's hard because you're just looking for escapism in any form. So I'm really glad that the 2 things I've done over the past 2 years are finally coming out, and that hopefully I can be a part of someone else's escapism. Please watch it. How about yourself? What have you been up to?
I'm about the same too. Doing a lot of binging. I didn't binge The Real Housewives. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, well, that's next on your list then. You're very welcome.
Now, Ann, over the last year, as you've had time to yourself, what is maybe one of the things that you've really focused on about your craft in that time?
Oh, well, I think probably watching things and taking note and really having an appreciation for lightness and just fun. And I think that's going to be very informative for me when I go back, when we finally get to go back and do some acting. But yeah, I think that's been probably the greatest thing I've learned is actually just from watching other people and really watching loads of shows, different kinds of shows and films, and being able to appreciate the more heavy and solemn work out there, and then the more lighter stuff or just simple escapism. As I said, The Real Housewives. I'm supposed to be promoting my shows and my film, not The Real Housewives, but here we are.
Well, again, the HBO series is The Nevers. You said April the 12th, am I right?
Sorry, yeah. April 11th on HBO. That'll be coming out in America. So yeah, there'll be six episodes every week on Sundays. So that'll be something to look forward to.
And then the film, Rose Plays Julie. Ann, I want to make sure and let our listeners know where they can find more information, get it on demand as well.
Yeah, I think you can get it basically on most streaming platforms. There's a virtual cinema. I actually have a link in my Instagram bio. I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's out there anyway. It should be in like virtual cinemas and stuff like that to make up for the fact that it can't actually make its way. We can't make our way to cinemas at the moment. So that's kind of brilliant how technology has helped us all save the day and saved cinema a bit at the moment. So
that's right. Now, Ann, if you mentioned the Instagram account where folks can find the link, is the Instagram the best place to keep up?
Yeah, I guess so, because that's where I find all my information these days. But my Instagram is Ann Skelly, and my link is in the bio there. You don't even have to follow me. You can just click on the link. Doesn't know what this is.
That's awesome. Well, Ann, it has been great to visit with you this morning. I wish you continued success. Looking forward to the new series, and hopefully we can catch up again real soon.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron.
Well, if you're going to lie, you need to lie better than this. The cops in Clam Lake Township, Michigan spotted a car on the shoulder of the highway last Friday with its lights off. When they walked up to the car, they saw the guy in the front seat try to duck out of sight. So the cops asked him for his name, and he gave them a fake name. But the cops didn't know it was fake, and when they ran the name, it turned out the actual person had felony warrants. So the guy was arrested anyway. And when the cops searched him, they found that he had 27 grams of meth. Now, when they got to jail, they took his fingerprints and figured out his real identity. He's now facing charges for meth possession, lying to an officer during a felony, along with other charges as well. We talked to Peter Coyote a couple days ago about the new movie as well, The Girl Who Believes in Miracles, and we've got Mira Sorvino on the line. And first off, Mira, thank you so much for taking the time.
My pleasure.
And Mira, tell our listeners, we delved into it just a little bit, but about your character in the new film that is releasing before Easter weekend, and at least we get an Easter of some sort this year, right?
Yes. I feel like this Easter is really like the promise of new life in a more actual way than perhaps any Easter we've had in recent years. You know, this is us seeing the coming, the rolling back of the stone and stepping back out into the light as hopefully the pandemic starts to abate. So it's a special message. I think that, the hopefulness of the child who is central to this story, her belief in God, her like pure, innocent, childlike faith is something that we can all kind of connect to and maybe open our own hearts to the possibility of God working miracles in our own lives and hope being possible.
And I know for a lot of folks right now, hope is something they're having a hard time finding. And sometimes it takes a child to make us open our eyes and realize, things aren't quite as bad as we make them out to be.
Yes, I think think that's why Jesus loved children so much. But I think that, look, it's very hard to tell people out there who have already lost so much in the past year and change, right? I mean, there's people who have lost several members of their family, people who've struggled with a COVID, bout themselves, people who have lost their jobs, people who have lost their homes. So there are a lot of real life issues that I want to hold space for. Like, I don't want to be glib and be like, oh, a movie can fix your life. That's not true. But there is an amazing capacity in the human spirit to rebound. And I think with faith in God, like, we can find the strength and the positivity to move forward out of this nightmare. And I think that this little girl in the story embodies that possibility of just believing and connecting to God's love and having faith that we will live through this, and we will rebuild, and we will have hope at the end of the tunnel. Like, she's literally like the light at the end of the tunnel. Her vision of God coming across the lake is like that light. There's something very beautiful in the way that she experiences her connection to God. And I think, all the rest of the adult characters are so stressed out by the situation of her, first of all, becoming like a faith healer and having all of this crazy attention. And secondly, then she gets this brain tumor diagnosis, which the doctor, who's a real skeptic, is like, well, that's responsible for her visions. This is not uncommon. This has happened before, and we're also burdened by our own concerns, like, not the least of which, as her mother in the story, I'm afraid of losing her. That we don't open our hearts to the possibility that what she's saying is actually true, that she's talking to God and God is answering her prayers. And, it's hard. It's hard to find that unflaggable faith that she has, because it is the faith of a child. But maybe if we can get a little closer to it, it'll be really wonderful for us, at this moment.
And Mira would talk about the cast. We talked about Peter, but also Kevin Sorbo in the cast. What was it like coming together? Was this pre-COVID or was this during COVID that the recording?
No, it was pre-COVID. We did it way before COVID. So yeah, it was lovely working with all of them. Everybody was really kind and smart and fun to talk to. And I worked mostly with with Austin and Peter. Mm-hmm. And they were both delights. And I really got to know Peter quite well. And he gave me his book. He wrote this fascinating book called The Rain Man's Third Cure. And boy, has he had a life. He's a really interesting guy. And I think he does a terrific job playing Sarah's grandfather, Austin's character. And begging God, like, let me be the one to suffer, and I know my dad used to say that when we were sick as children, he would pray for him to have the pain, which is, I think, as a good parent should. But it's, I don't know, it's just a wonderful assortment of performances that all really come together, I think, for the good of the story. I think it really gels very nicely.
And Mira, at this time, especially the times we're living in, to be able to have art be inspirational and motivational to folks, how much pride do you take on the personal side to be able to do that as well?
Well, I don't know if I would call it pride, but really, I think I'm grateful to be a part of something that hopefully will mean something emotionally to people as they come, out of Lent into Easter, if it can be something they can relate to and feel that I've honestly portrayed this with my heart, then I'm happy to have been a part of that. It always means something to a performer when their work resonates with people. Like when you get somebody telling you that it meant a lot to them, that just makes your day, because you never really know, unless someone tells you whether your performance or that film did something in their life. And so when you do get that feedback, it really touches you, because it's sort of definitely like why I wanted to be an actor, because I wanted to be able to move people. I wanted to just kind of share something with them through my performance. And hopefully the message that is shared through this film and this combination of all of our performances, if it moves people and gives them a little hope, a little bit more faith, then that would be fantastic.
That's good. Again, The Girl Who Believes in Miracles. Mira, I always want to make sure and let folks know where they can find more about the movie, but also all your socials as well.
I'm just at Mira Sorvino on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And the website is thegirlwhobelievesinmiracles.com.
That's as easy as it comes, Mira. Well, Mira, it has been a privilege to have the chance to visit with you again today. I hope you have a great weekend and look forward to talking again real soon.
Thank you. You too.
Well, thanks again for joining me for this 53rd episode in Season 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole. If you ever have a comment, question, or anything else you'd like to know, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, all at GQ with Cam. You can also reach me on the contact page of the website, gqwithcam.com. If you'd like to help out in the funding for this podcast, you can click on the shop tab at gqwithcam.com. We've got a great selection of new merchandise available. If you have a special guest idea, feel free to email me, gqwithcam@gmail.com. Thanks again to Brandon Allen for coming up with our theme music. We're going to let him play us out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday.